You're listening to the Birth Advocacy Podcast. I'm Kira Walsh, and let's be honest, you're not here for the watered-down birth education you'd get from a hospital class. On this podcast, we're talking about the stuff your provider probably won't tell you, the questions you didn't know you could ask, and how to advocate for yourself in a system that wasn't designed with you in mind. Listen, I know you've got advice flying at you from your provider, your best friend, your Facebook group, and your mother-in-law, and none of it feels clear or helpful. If you're craving unfiltered birth education that actually prioritizes you, you're in the right place. Let's jump in. You're listening to episode 8 of the Birth Advocacy Podcast, and today we're talking about why you need a doula, even if you're pretty sure that you don't. So, I already know what you're probably thinking, that doulas are just for like home births, candlelit bathtubs, and moms who just want to sniff lavender oil instead of getting an epidural, right? Like, I totally get it. There's this weird stereotype floating around that doulas are only for crunchy moms planning an unmedicated birth at home, right? And if you're planning on getting an epidural or even scheduling a C-section, you're probably thinking like, yeah, I'm good, or that's not for me, or I don't need a doula, right? But here's the thing, is that doulas aren't just for one type of birth. So today we're going to talk about why doulas are for everyone, including you. And that's even if your ideal birth plan involves modern medicine and giving birth in the hospital. So first I want to talk about a birth that I supported probably a good couple months ago now. And this mom was having her first baby. She was 100% set on getting an epidural. She loved her OB. She felt great about the hospital. And honestly, she wasn't even sure that she wanted a doula at all. But she figured, hey, extra support can't hurt because it's her first baby, right? So we started working together. And with her birth, things started off smooth. Labor kicked in. We obviously went to the hospital. She got her epidural. And, labor was good. Life was good, right? Until it wasn't. Her epidural decided to stop working only on one side, which does happen. So if you are planning to get an epidural, maybe we talk about this a little bit more on another episode, but her epidural stopped working on one side. So she was like 0 to 100 in major pain, trying to explain what was happening. And the nurse was just kind of like, well, that's weird. Like, it'll probably even out soon. And the nurse basically shrugs it off because that happens all the time with epidurals, you guys. Like, it stops working a lot of the times. So the nurse kind of shrugged it off. Her OB was stuck in a quote unquote emergency C-section at the time. Her husband was looking at me like a deer caught in literal headlights, and she was freaking miserable. So she was literally flat on her back. Again, with an epidural, you can't get up and walk around, even if it wears off. So she was in the bed, in pain, freaking miserable. So enter yours truly, right? So I helped her reposition so the epidural could basically spread out evenly. And I reminded her husband what he could do to help instead of just standing there and panicking, right? And I coached her through a lot of things until that epidural got things sorted out and got working. And afterwards, she looked me right in the face and was like, Kira, I honestly did not think I would need you because I was getting an epidural, but holy crap, I don't know how I would have survived that without you. And that right there is why doulas matter, because birth doesn't always go according to plan. And by the time you realize that you needed that extra support, it's usually too late to go and find some. So even if you are planning on getting an epidural, you need a doula because an epidural is not a birth plan. So even after I tell that story, maybe you are still thinking something like, my husband's going to be there. He can support me. We've gone through birth class. He knows what to do. Or maybe my OB is amazing and they're going to take care of me, which please, for the love of God, know that that is not the case. Even if your OB or midwife cares about you in the hospital, they are not going to be there to support you through your labor. They are going to be checking in very rarely. And again, maybe you're still thinking doulas are only for moms doing the whole unmedicated thing. And, that's not your plan. But I really want to break this down because truly, these are the same myths and beliefs that I had before I became a doula. Like literally before I had my home birth, I was like, I don't even need a doula. I almost did not even hire a doula for my home birth. Thank God I did, because it has led me to where I am now. But I used to believe those exact same myths. So I want to break this down for you. So, first off, your husband, let's get something straight. Your husband is awesome. I am very sure about that. But is he a trained birth professional? Probably not, right? Like, he is literally emotionally invested in this birth, meaning he's freaking out right alongside you, whether he wants to admit it or not. And having a doula is not about replacing your husband, it's about making him better at supporting you. It means he's not going to be secretly Googling in between contractions, like how to support your wife during labor. It means he's actually going to be able to be present because someone else is remembering all those breathing techniques and all those labor positions you practiced. Your husband should get to experience birth with you, not feel like he suddenly has to become a birth expert, right? Next up, number two, epidurals. And this is a biggie because, again, there is a myth that once the epidural goes in, a doula's job is done. With an epidural, you are still going to need help staying comfortable and keeping labor progressing, right? Because laying flat on your back for hours is not exactly helpful for labor progression. Plus, someone needs to help you understand when your doctors and nurses start rattling off options and you don't know what's the best decision to make for you and your baby. So, also, too, like, what if your epidural decides to stop working, right? You're going to want someone who knows what the hell they're doing to help guide you really through that situation. Now, let's talk about your OB or your midwife, okay? I'm sure that your provider is great. I trust that you chose a provider that you believe is going to support you and who you trust. But with that being said, again, in the hospital, your OB or midwife is juggling multiple patients. They are in and out of surgeries. They are charting for multiple patients. They have hospital protocols to follow. So, like, you get the picture, right? They cannot provide continuous support. And honestly, neither can your nurses because they have other patients, they have charting, and they have shift change, right? But a doula, though, is there for you and only you continuously. We don't leave when the nurses' shifts change, right? Like we say, we don't have any other clients that we're working with. We're not documenting every contraction in a spreadsheet. Our job is only to support you. And finally, the last one, can we please, for the love of God, stop thinking that doulas are just for unmedicated births? I promise, like, we're not going to show up with crystals and affirmations if that's not what you want. Like, if you want us to, sure, we will. But doulas are there for every kind of birth: epidural, induction, C section, you name it. Because again, birth support isn't about how you are birthing your baby. It's about how you feel when it's happening and about the choices that you're making, and that you are the one making those choices. And everyone deserves support, respect, and someone on their side, no matter how they're giving birth. So, bottom line, do you need a doula? My honest opinion, probably. Probably yes. Birth is unpredictable, right? And even with the most detailed birth plan and with the most amazing providers, having someone there whose literal entire job is to have your back and help you make decisions and advocate for what you want, that is huge. And trust me, it's not about whether you can do it without a doula. Of course, you can do it without a doula. I tell my moms all the time, like, they're afterwards, they're like, Kira, I couldn't have done it without you. And I said the same thing to my doula. But yes, you can. Of course, you can give birth without a doula. Women have been doing it for millions of years, right? But it's about how much better birth can feel with someone by your side who actually knows what the hell they're doing. So here comes your challenge. My challenge for you today is I want you to think about the support that you really want during birth. Who's going to be in the room with you? What kind of support feels important to you? And if you've already had your baby, did you feel fully supported during your birth? Or do you look back thinking like, damn, I really wish I had more help? Or maybe you're looking into doulas because you're pregnant again and you're like, I am not doing that shit alone. So really ask yourself those questions. Again, your mother-in-law is not a doula. Your husband is not a doula. Your best friend is not a doula. Or maybe they are. That would be really awesome. But think about who you want to support you during birth and what you want that support to look like. And again, as always, if this episode resonated with you, I want you to send it to a friend who's pregnant, or maybe a friend who's skeptical about hiring a doula. And really, truly, like, let's end the myth that doulas are some fancy, unnecessary extra. Because trust me, you deserve all the support in the world, whether your birth involves an epidural, whether it's a C-section, or even if it's bringing lavender oil and affirmations that we talked about.